Welcome to Gold Fever Radio.
I go straight from the bank, gassing up the tank, cranking up the radio, playing old Hank. It ain't that long till I'm back at the farm.
Well, good evening. It is Wednesday once again, and welcome to Gold Fever Radio. Hey. All right, Wednesday, July the 3rd, 2024. What's going on here? Let's see, there's only 180 days left in this year. It's still going by. Today is National Plastic Bag Free Day. I'm not sure how you take that. I went to Walmart earlier, and I brought back about 50 of them. Let's see, it's National Fried Clam Day. Yuck. It's National Chocolate Wafer Day. I'd go for chocolate wafer. It's National Eat Your Beans Day, which that means tomorrow is National. You know what that means then. Today's Bean Day. Tomorrow is something else day. Today is National Compliment Your Mirror Day. So does that mean you talk to yourself when you look in the mirror? Say, man, you sure looking good today. Thank you, mirror. Let's see, tomorrow is National Independence Day, so happy independence to you all in advance. Which reminds me, I think what I'm going to do later on, so pay attention here if you guys are in early, I'll give away one of these tumblers of We the People tumbler, just in honor of the 4th of July. So I'll give one of those away here in a little later. Pay attention to the questions. Let's see, on this day in history, U.S. withdraws from Afghanistan. Wow, that's been that long already. Let's see, 1865, Salvation Army was founded. 1937, Amelia Earhart disappears. Wonder if they ever found her. I don't think they ever found her, did they? See, what else has happened in 1997, Men in Black premieres in theaters. 1863, The Fighting Continue at Gettysburg. Let's see, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. You share birthdays with people like Tom Cruise. He is 62, born on this day in 1962. What's happening in events? We got our New Year's extravaganza, the end of the year. Working on a couple different plans that was working on. We'll talk about them a little later or something like that. The Patreon outing is November 15, 16, 17 up in Gold Basin area. And the Don's Camp for the Superstition Rendezvous, that's going to be at the end of October. That's all I got. That's it. We got our guest in the house, I see. Who's going on? I see hanging out here. Steve, I guess you were first, huh? And there's old Ken. Ken's in the chatter room. Richard Duke, Patty's Adventure, hello, good evening. David, good evening. Mark, hello. Staying cool. Man, I was coming back today from Havasu. It said it was 118 degrees. It said it's 111 right now. So, yeah, it's pretty warm right here. Let's see. Let me get our guest in, and without further ado, worldwide. This guy's been all over the world. He knows more about prospecting than, anyways. Good evening, Mr. Clint. Uh-oh, you lost your sound. No sound. We don't have no sound for you, buddy.
What if I unmute it?
There you are.
Does that help?
Yep, there you are. And your green screen is now you got part of your shirt in the green screen.
Yeah, it's maybe I should just turn it off.
Well, it depends what's in your background.
It's like my shirt. You can either erase part of my shirt or have some of the. Oops, let's see here. Background. Well, my background is. Let's just do that. That's my background.
You go. Okay.
I just I like this because it's got a gold pen in it. But if I show my shirt, unfortunately, my shirt has blue in it, and I'm using a blue screen.
Well, man, I thought you would know that way by now.
Yeah, I'll just go blue.
Hello, Dallas, Buck, Richard Gibson. Greetings from Michigan. All right. Yeah, I don't want to try to put up any green screens. I would just probably screw everything up. I've tried green screens once in a while, but yeah.
Yeah, it works better when your shirt's a different color than the green screen.
Oh, that's probably true. And I probably have type of a green shirt on. Well, if you have a blue, you can't have a blue shirt. If you got a green,
correct.
You can't have. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't coordinate very well. Well, how are you doing, Jack? I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Haven't been seeing you. I don't know what you've been up to, man. Well, why don't you introduce yourself for those that don't know who you are?
Okay, my name is Clint Washburn, and for those who don't know, I invented the gold claw. And one of the people who's very important to me and has helped a lot with this is apparently in the chat. That is Ken Snyder. And I almost talked him into being on the show with me here, but he ended up bowing out for some reason. It would have been fun to have him on.
He was chicken. He sent me a text and he says, I'll read it to you. He said, I would love to join you, but I'm really chicken and I'm really shy to talk to people. Maybe another time when I get over all of my shyness.
Somehow I doubt that's what he said. But I do know he has a whole ton of family showing up tonight. So my guess is he's trying to take care of number one, his wife. That's my guess. But hopefully he'll be saying hi and stuff to us on the chat. Yeah. But I'm Clint Washburn. I invented the gold claw, and I guess that's why I'm on tonight, is to talk a little bit about that. But it's just another way of panning gold. Instead of using the classic swirl and dip, it uses a shake and tilt technique for displacement. And I think we'll have some fun talking about that today.
And Lee Kane is there. I see. Hello. Yeah, we talk about that. So we can get into a little bit of that on what possessed you. Does people know what the gold claw is? I meant to grab one, and man, I just barely got back not too long ago. There we go. Oh, those are pretty ones. That's my favorite color one right there, too.
This is the one that started it all out. It's the original gold claw. And since then, we've added a few more. I've got this one, the pocket pan. So somebody talked me into doing this one. And I thought it was kind of a silly idea at first. But since we've made it, it's become one of my favorites. So I love the pocket pan. And then people were they were using the original and actually out panning sluices. And I'm like, well, why don't we make one that's big and designed for that? So this one I'm actually going to give away on your show today. It has kind of a fun little pattern in it. Cool. So it's kind of a one in a kind giveaway pan. So we'll talk about giving that away later today.
All right.
But that thing is awesome. It really hauls through the dirt.
So Ken said, I am a big old chicken, and you know I hate not.
It's true, but he is so much better than just about anybody I know. He's a natural. I don't know why he hates it so much when he's so good at it.
Well, you know, I remember you two there at the gold shows, and you both had those, I'll call them like professional, were they black shirts that had all names had on them and everything? I always wanted one of them shirts, man.
Oh, yeah? I've been thinking about doing another gold claw shirt, maybe a really fun hat, too.
Hey, you know what? But look, I can do your T-shirt. See, I got my own brand right here.
Gold Fever Adventures.
I can do your T-shirts.
You can do it. Well, I'll tell you why I'm thinking about doing it, though. It's because my son has just taken up a business doing it for influencers.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at some of the art he does, and it is really good.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about having him do it. He takes your logo and just really makes it neat by the time he's done.
Hey, I got a 4-color T-shirt press for you. Silk screen.
Oh, yeah? You have an actual press?
Well, a T-shirt silk screen.
So, maybe we should talk. Maybe we should talk because
I'm giving it away. I don't want it no more.
Oh yeah, how
Right.
much? Well, we'll have to talk. We don't have to do
Yeah.
it over the air.
Let's see what Ken say. Ken says, Jack, I'll send you one of mine, but it's gonna fit you like a 10. I know because you wear like a 5X, man.
I'll tell you
Gentlemen,
what. He is a
hello.
large man, and he's not overweight. He's like a giant.
I know. Well, I think he's like what? He's 7'2", ain't he?
It's pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
At least
Mama
7'2".
Timothy Pinkerton. Stay cool. Yeah, I don't know how we can stay cool. How do you see? All right, all good here. Okay, so you got the Gold Claw pan. So you showed all them pans. So one, what possessed you ever to do that? Some people would call that a strange pan, not a normal pan. But what prevents you to do not a normal pan like everybody else does?
I kind of wish I had a normal pan sitting here to compare to, but a nice round one. Round pans are designed to be easily manufactured. They're meant for cooking. They hold your grub, and back in the day, that's what they were for, right? And the people used those to get the gold out because that's what they had in hand. And ever since then, people just keep doing the same thing. And I don't know, it's always bothered me that the pan was designed for cooking and we use it for separating gold, but gold has unique properties. Why don't we design a pan that's unique to the properties of gold? And I've seen a lot of what you might call improvements where people change the fin sizes or they put little channels in there, but they're still the round pan, and they still use shaking they use swirling and dipping. And what swirling does is it causes the heavies to go down and the lights to go up, which is good, but then you dip. And dipping is where the water runs off like the waves of the ocean, all the different ways it's been described, and they slowly wash the lights off the top. Well, that washing motion is what makes the old pan less effective, because washing requires the pressure of the water to take the light stuff and wash it out of the pan off the top of the gold. But for it to work, it depends, yes, on the weight of the material, but also the shape of the material. So if you have a high surface area to volume ratio, it'll wash out even if it's gold. So if you have a flat piece of gold, that'll wash out. Or if you have a very fine piece of gold, that surface area to volume ratio is very low. And so washing is not the best way to separate gold. There's too many forces involved. And and my dad, he's a geologist, and he's the one that actually got me started in it. And he was struggling on one of his mines, and they're saying, yeah, we're having trouble keeping the gold in the machine. It just keeps getting away. And I asked him about it, and he explained all the physics. And I'm like, well, why are you using washing? It doesn't make sense. And I remember he told me, he goes, listen, young man, this is the way we've been doing it since the time of the early Egyptians. And I'm an engineering student, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, there's got to be another way to do this. So I went and I actually built a prototype. And what I did is, instead of using the properties of weight and pressure to wash, I said, well, what if we just use the properties of weight by themselves? Because that's the one factor that really separates gold. And so I created a displacement technique. So instead of washing to remove the light material, you use displacement to cause the heavy materials to displace the lighter materials. So it's purely weight that's acting on it. And now it doesn't care about size or shape, just its specific gravity or its weight. And that prototype worked great. And then I actually went out and built a machine based on that, which did really well. And then I was thinking, well, we can do it with a machine. Why can't we just do it by hand in a pan? And what got me there is I was actually testing my machine with pans. And so I'm panning 40 buckets of material, and I'm just getting worn out. And I'm like, there's got to be somebody who's doing this separation in a pan. I mean, come on, all the patents that have been out there. And I couldn't find anything. I mean, I got pans from Europe, all over the internet. I searched everybody I knew and had them show me their pans. And some of them I thought would do it for sure in the picture. But by the time I got it home and tried it, it was still a shake or a swirling and dipping style pan. And I just couldn't believe that nobody had done it before. So that's when I decided maybe I just need to do it. So I contacted a patent lawyer, had him do a search. And sure enough, nobody had done it. And so I made this, and I made multiple prototypes. I actually launched my first version of it on a Kickstarter, which did very well. And that's the birth of it. That's how it got started. Instead of just having my own, I decided, let's go ahead and make one of these so everybody can experience what it's like to pan with displacement instead of with swirling and dipping. And maybe to explain displacement a little better, it's kind of like an earthquake that creates liquefaction. During an earthquake, all the ground mixing with the water turns into goop, and heavy things sink. And that's essentially what we're recreating in this pan. So instead of a round pan where you're swirling, which is why you make it round, this one is more oblong shaped. It's because you're shaking side to side. And that side to side shaking creates that liquefaction state. And in that state of liquefaction, the gold can work its way down to the bottom, and the light materials are pushed up and out. And so it's almost like pouring cream off your milk. The light stuff just works its way up to the top and just flows out the top. So instead of like in a swirl and dip round pan, you swirl it and then you dip for a while and wash some off. Then you swirl it again, which is good, but then you dip it some more, which is not good. And because it's so easy to wash out gold, you go through many, many cycles to protect that gold. And it does work, right? You can protect the gold fairly well. But the problem is by taking multiple cycles, it just takes a long time. And so this, with one smooth, you shake and tilt, and with one smooth cycle, literally within about 15 seconds, you've removed everything from your pan but the gold. And then to finish, you can flip it to the other side and do the same thing, shake and tilt, and finish out this side. Now you're down to virtually just the gold. And so in 30 seconds, you go from a full pan to pure gold ready to put in your vial.
Well, one thing I can tell you with that pan compared to a round pan, in a round pan, let's say if you cannot fill it out of the creek, you shovel, say, a whole bunch of material into the pan to pan. In a round pan, you're defeating the purpose because nothing is uniform. In other words, you got big rocks, small rocks, little gravels, and it takes a lot of force to knock out those bigger gravels out of your pan. And when you have to do that, the little stuff goes with it too. And you're going to lose gold that way unless you classify it all the way down. And with that pan, your gold claw, you don't have to do that.
That's exactly right. One way to overcome the size difference when you're washing is to classify. But that's a whole nother step you got to do. You can spend 5 minutes just classifying down your bucket of material. If you have a 5-gallon bucket, that could be 5 to 15 minutes alone, depending on the system and how good you are at it. But now you've just spent 5 minutes classifying, and then you start the panning process. And then it's still not perfect, right? You still have some larger and some smaller pieces, so you still have to be careful and do multiple cycles. And so with a gold claw, because it's displacement, it doesn't care about the shape. You can leave big rocks, small rocks, everything in there. And literally within 15 seconds, you're down to a tablespoon of material. Flip it around, 15 seconds more, you're down to just the gold. So it's fast. I don't know if you have access, but can you play that YouTube video, the 40-second pan? It's with I do it with the large one. So I take a 5-gallon bucket in this pan, and I put the first half of the bucket in, and I pan that down in about 15 seconds or so. And then I waste some time dumping the bucket in and putting the other half of the 5-gallon bucket in. And then I pan that down, and then I finish off the backside. And that whole process took me 40 seconds to go through a 5-gallon bucket. So I don't know if you can find that and play it, but that would give people an idea of how it works.
I'm looking for, let's see, this is the one that...
It says 5 gallons in 40 seconds.
Okay, there it is right here. Okay, let me hold this up here.
That's a good example because if you think about 5 gallons in 40 seconds, that's really fast. Okay. And 45-gallon buckets roughly equals a yard. So you're doing almost a yard an hour with a hand panning system. That's unheard of. You can't even do that with a sluice. Okay, I'm going with a normal high banker.
I'm doing some weird stuff here, so let's see here. I'm trying to see if I can do something here. I've got to download it first, then convert it over. So we'll see if I can do all this stuff here.
That's a bummer. You can't just play it right off YouTube, or maybe it starts going everywhere if you do that.
Well, I don't know if I can play it to have it come through. That's what I'm wondering. So, I mean, because I can play it. Okay, let's see, but I don't think it will come through.
Well,
okay.
I don't know that we need the sound if we can just get the video, because I just want people to see that the shaking and how you just do one smooth motion of shaking and tilting, and the material, you just rip through it.
Yeah, okay, let me go see if I can find this now. Let's see. Where would have that gone to? Yeah, you can keep yakking there.
Okay.
Well,
maybe while you're bringing that up, for some people it's just about going out and having fun, which you can do with any kind of pan. But for people who really want to go fast, there's a technique called speed panning that doubles the speed. And so I'll demonstrate it. Actually, I'll demonstrate it with this little pocket pan since it fits on the screen better. What you do to speed pan is you have two pans. One is a catch pan and one is the one you're working with. And so you fill your pan up full. You do it on the big side. So you shake and tilt. And then instead of taking that and moving it to the other side and finishing, you just dump that whole pan into your catch pan. So 15 seconds, dump. Then you fill your pan up again, 15 seconds, dump. And you keep doing that. Keep taking that last tablespoon of material and keep filling that catch pan until the catch pan gets full. Then you take that catch pan and pan it down and then go to the other side and finish. So that'll cut your time in half if you have a catch pan and just do one side and dump. So for people who really want to go through a lot of material, use a catch pan and speed pan it.
Okay, I got it here. Let me see if I can play this with us here still. I may have to delete us out of here. Let me see.
I just put half this 5-gallon bucket.
Just like that.
Just like that. But that was a 5-gallon bucket, poured first half, then the second half, the whole thing in 40 seconds. And, I'm used to it, so it might take you 1 to 2 minutes, but still, even that's ridiculously fast. And that's with river rock, right? It's already, the mud's washed out of it. It's just a matter of shaking and tilting.
People are talking about where to find gold. I'm trying to read it. Let's see. What's Ken say? Dallas Jack has a great video he just published on finding gold in the desert. There's actually, that's funny because I'm working on an article to send to the Mining Journal on desert prospecting, how to locate gold deposits in the desert. So maybe that'll be out within the next months to come. But while we're talking to that, let me go ahead and get my commercial out of the way. Okay, is that
all right? That sounds good.
Fine with you? So
while you're doing that, I'm going to read through some of these comments, see what they're saying.
Okay, take a minute break. Let me find this. We'll be right back, folks.
ICMJ, the International California Mining Journal, was first published in 1931, 93 years old this year. Since our first issue, Our goal has remained the same, and that is to provide miners with a voice, a marketplace for their goods and services, and to offer expert advice and tips from our knowledgeable writers, miners, geologists, all in the field. We still offer our 12 and 24-month print subscriptions, but keeping up with the times and with our reader requests, the digital online subscription option allows for a simple and gorgeous reading experience using your preferred technology, your phone, your tablet, or computer. Sign up for our print, online, or both print and online at www.icmj.com or call us at 831-479-1500. For our advertising services, both display advertising and classifieds, select the miners market section or call us. Happy prospecting.
Happy prospecting. The Mining Journal, awesome magazine. Look at this. Have you ever heard? Look at that cool article.
Nice.
Have you ever heard of a dip needle for finding gold?
Dip needles? No. What is that?
You know, there was a Spanish dip needle, and the Spanish used to use them to help locate gold. They're kind of like a dowsing rod in a way, like that right there.
Oh, check it out.
And so this has gold in there. And so that's one form of a dip needle. The other type of a dip needle, they're also called miners' compasses, things like that there.
I have not heard of these.
Surveyors used them to find underground pipes and water and stuff like that. Anyway, you use them to find gold. So there's an article right there on how to find gold using a dip needle. Have you
ever tried that before?
Yes.
I have not ever tried it. I'm having a hard time believing in it, but I don't believe in it.
I'll tell you what it is. It's a compass. And instead of going like a normal compass where you lay down, this one lays horizontal, and so it's straight. So when you come upon magnetics, it tilts down towards the magnetics. So if you're looking for heavy black sands and iron, it's going towards the iron, and that's where the gold is going to travel also. So that's why those things work like they do.
Interesting. One of these days, maybe I'll have to go play with those more and just see if I'm a data analysis guy. I'm pretty good at correlations. I'd love to see how good the correlation is with one of those versus without. I've got a dip needle of my own.
Yeah.
My dad is a great geologist. When his finger goes like this, that's where I go dig, and it usually works. He's really good.
Well, you know where we were up there in the Meadview area, we never did check the claims out further down. I have south of there too, you know. So I got other claims up there, and then ones further south, they got mines on them too.
I would love to go check those. The one we were on was pretty good.
Yeah, the one further down though, that one butts right next to some people doing mining operation up there. It butts right next to like Jeff.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, so that's a good area up there, and there's mines on it too. So
Jeff Williams, that's somebody I've never bumped into. I swear he's avoiding me. I'm not sure why.
Oh, he avoids everybody.
Maybe that's it.
Hello. As long as you break the can. Oh, I'm just looking. These people are saying where to find gold at. Gold is where you find. Hello, Alan. In Arizona and actually desert areas, we look for not necessarily quartz. Quartz is a good indication for gold, and so is black sand. You don't always see black sand though, but you need to find like your greenstones. Greenstones is a very good indication for gold. Your green rock, which is epidote, and that's
I believe in that.
That's very good when you see like those on the ground, big pieces of greenstone. Your quartz, orange quartz, ugly quartz, not your white bold quartz, but the quartz that has a lot of iron in it. You can tell if it's got iron. Yeah, by looking at it. When it's been on the ground, you pick it up and look on the bottom. If it's orange, then there's a lot of iron in the ground. Somebody mentioned red dirt. You want that reddish dirt. You want your zones where contacts where you got two different colors, like a whitish band and a dark you know, in those zones.
Hmm.
Washes, everything flows downhill. And in the desert, it's alluvial, you know, because it starts out where it breaks away from the rocks and works its way down to the washes. Everything works its way down. So you got to find those low spots. Stand back and look up and look for those low spots and go to the low spots. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's not just flowing downhill, it's working its way deeper. As rain and the millions of years work on it, they tend to migrate down into the soil. So that's why that's one of the reasons things end up down closer to the bedrock. Of course, alluvial flows and things are another reason.
Well, like, you know, up here, the old timers missed all of that gold that we found up here. I mean, tons of gold we found up here. The old timers missed it.
They were just too busy getting all the good stuff.
Well, they didn't have metal detectors to find it.
True.
It had long broken off its source way before they even got there, and was just sitting there waiting to be found.
I saw somebody's in here talking about clay. What do you do about clay? And so clay, there's two steps to separating gold. There's the separation part, which is what we're talking about with gold claw, but there's the washing part. That's a separate process. With clay, you have to wash it first. And what some people do to wash it is they'll put it in their pan and then they'll scrub it with their fingers to break it up. Some people will run it through a classifier just to break up the clay. That's actually a good technique. I like to use a wash plant, so I kind of prefer the spraying flatbeds that shake and have chains and screens in them. That tends to do a pretty good job breaking up clays. But you got to break your clay up by washing it first. And what you're doing is you're disarticulating the gold from the clay. In other words, if you have any clay stuck to your gold, it's like having a big balloon on top, and the clay will wash away and pull your gold with it. But if you can scrub that and break the gold and the clay apart from each other, then you can do the separation process. So don't think of panning with clay. Think of washing clay and then panning. They're two separate activities you have to do. And so you got to wash and break up the clay, and then you can pan it.
You say clay is the sluice robbers.
It absolutely is. Those clay balls roll down and grab the gold right out.
So if you see clay sitting there, then you take it, pick it up. But I never play with it at the same time. So I'll pick up clay balls and set them aside, like in another pan or something. Then after I'm all done, then I'll go back over, smash up all that clay, and then run that separately.
Yeah, if you're getting clay balls in your sluice, your washing system is not doing the job. It should break up and liquefy those clay balls before they ever get down to your sluice. But the problem is in a high banker, you just don't have that good of a washing system. You know, you dump it in and you got 1 or 2 seconds of water, and then it's down into the sluice. So it gets you into trouble. So
you got to have a high pressure water to.
Yeah, high pressure, time, and a lot of force in there. You know, mixing and jiggling it and breaking it up. Clay is a challenge.
Why your trommels work, because they're going around that trommel and they're beating it up against other rocks and the spray.
Trommels are slow, but they do wash really well. That's one of their advantages. So if you're not moving a whole lot of material, a trommel's a really good system. If you're trying to move a lot of material, then the shaking flatbeds with the high pressure is better, but it's more of a challenging setup because now you've got big motorized shaking systems that they tend to shake themselves apart if you don't build them right.
That's a dry wash. Dry washers work better.
And then there's dry washing. Oh man, talk about pain in the behind. Any wet at all and you're sunk. But if you are dry, and in Arizona you're pretty dry, then they start to work pretty good. But still, the surface tension, still a challenge.
No, gold separates better in water than air.
Yeah.
And you lose more with the dry washer, but you can run a lot more material faster with the dry washer than you can through.
It's true. Yeah.
Ken grew up in Oregon.
Everything has trade-offs.
Did you know Ken grew up in Oregon?
Did I know that? He's probably told me. I thought it was California for some reason.
Ken is so old. Ken grew up using rocker boxes. That's how old
Ken is a young lad. What are you talking about?
Ken grew up using rocker box. You know, I used to have one of them golden cradles, and I wished I still had it. The rocker box that it was all contained.
You see, I just don't have patience for any of that.
No.
Rocker box is another good way to wash clay. It's just you got to be patient.
Well,
It takes the gravels and moves them back and forth, which will break up your clays. And it also does a good job of liquefaction. So rocker boxes are a lot better way than just pure washing. But in the end, they still get the running water across the top, and you got to be careful with them.
Yeah, I don't think rocker box is more for like probably sampling, and they're not made for production.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more of a prospecting tool.
Georgia
to
has
high
a lot
volume. You got to have a lot of patience with the rocker box.
That's the
They
red
do a good
clay.
job of catching, though.
Yeah,
I'll give them that. Yeah.
the red clay in Georgia. I've heard a lot of stories about that. My brother was stationed back there someplace. He always told me about clay in Georgia. There's a song about the clay in Georgia too. I don't, about the me and you and a dog named Boo or something, and they wash the clay off the car or ever how that goes. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, one of the biggest challenges when you're trying to get more commercial gold, when you're trying to run high volumes, is the washing is the biggest challenge. And I actually made a really neat wash plant that we used up in Alaska. It worked pretty good. It probably ran, I would guess, 25, shooting for 50 yards an hour, but it's in that range depending on the material. But that's starting to get some volume there.
So how far would they have an arrest from the source?
What's that? How far would a rastris normally be from the source? Depends on what moved it. If it was a glacier, it could be long ways away.
Well, if a miner's using it, depending on, I don't think he's setting it up probably by his camp, more than likely. So he's bringing material back to his camp where he's housed at, and then he's dumping it in there where he can work it on his free time or whatever. I don't think they build them. Well, I guess they could build them right by the source, but they wouldn't be too far from the source then.
So raster is a grinding system, right? For breaking it down, disarticulating.
Yeah, they go round and round.
Yeah.
Can't use rocker boxes because his granddad was a tightwad prospector dog. Ken grew up back in when
Ken likes to try it all. I mean, he's tried everything.
First baseball game ever played, Ken? Was you at the first baseball game that was ever played?
No, Jack. I think you older than him. That's what I think.
Well, that part's probably true. Well, no, he's talking. I used to use rocker boxes. Well, that's old school. So that's why I'm just joking with him.
Ken's tried it all. I mean, he's told me so many stories about things he's tried. Rockers, sluicing, everything. He's tried it. I've tried a lot of the really neat things. Some neat technologies that I've played with.
Yeah. Let's see.
Probably my next one is chemical.
It's chemical?
Chemistry and electrolysis. Yeah. Probably my next thing to try out.
Look, I even got painter bags or painter things.
So I'm curious from the chat group, everybody's out here chatting. How many people have actually tried a gold claw on the chat, I wonder? If you've tried or own a gold claw, just put a yes out there.
If you tried a gold claw or have
tried or have one.
Somebody said a while back, Daryl said that he has a gold claw in his. Let's see, I saw that right there. Let's see, right here.
Got a couple of yeses out there. So if you've tried a gold claw, oh yes, love it. There's 3. So some of your audience have been trying them, playing with them. There's a
Trucking
4th.
Nomad. Okay, there you go. The question with Ken, since that's perfect right there. Trucking Nomad says he has the purple one.
Ken, even with the 7-Eleven cup, I don't doubt it. So if for those who have not tried a gold claw, let me just say this. If you're used to a round pan, it is not like round panning. Using a gold claw is not like round panning. Because in a round pan, you swirl in a circle. And the round circular pan, it works to go in a circle. But in a gold claw, you do not swirl in a circle. You go side to side. First of all, I'm not convinced even in a round pan, the swirling motion is the best, because the circular motion, it does create that liquefaction and lets the gold sink, but it also moves the material around in your pan in a circle. And so it might get it down, but it also allows gold to move towards the front where you don't want it. So the side-to-side motion does the same thing, only it allows it to drop straight down without moving the gold closer to the front where you don't want it. So that's why we do the side-to-side shaking. And so no swirling, side-to-side shaking only, and definitely no dipping. When you start dipping your pan in the water to wash the gold, do not do that in a gold claw. It is specifically designed to not dip, but instead to shake. And so if you start dipping it, these riffles aren't designed for dipping. You're going to get a very different effect. And you could actually lose gold if you try to dip it with a gold claw. So instead, like that video, you just shake it all the way to the end. That's what it's designed for. And I watch old timers trying to pan with a gold claw, and they've got that muscle memory where they're going in circles and they're swirling, and it's a hard thing for them to realize they're doing it.
It's a hard thing to because you are so used to a round pan. It's hard to grab up a gold claw. But what you were talking about, some people, they do the swirl it. I mean, I tend to just rock it back and forth anyways.
Which is much better, even in a round pan.
Yeah. But even in a round pan, if you notice that the gold does not go to the center. Depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed, it goes to the edges. And then when you start to get rid of it, you're going to notice the gold sitting on one of your edges. So with the claw, because you're going sideways, it will bring that down.
Drops to the center.
To that bottom right there.
And that center is designed to hold tight onto that gold. So you cannot use it like a round pan. And I keep watching people out on the internet saying, hey, I just got my gold claw. And then they'll swirl and dip with it. And they give it a thumbs up. And I'm like, wow, that's the hardest way to use a gold claw. You got to switch to the shaking and tilting. It's a different separation technique. It's not washing the lights off the top. It's displacing the lights with the heavies. And so you got to learn to trust the shake and tilt. And once you get the feel of it, it's pretty obvious why that works better. But it takes a little bit of time to let go of the feel of swirling and dipping. Or how did somebody put it here? Swirling and swishing. You got to let go of that feel and learn to do the displacement technique. And once you do, though, it's so much faster, you won't go back.
I told you a long time ago that the pans that disappear out of my panning collection that I've got, I bet you I've got 50 pans outside of them. But I got all types of pans, rocker pan, every type of pan there is. Old metal ones, the cone. I got every pan there is. But it seems like every time after an event, the deep groove Garrett pans disappear, the gold claw pans disappear. Out of those two pans seem to disappear. So,
well, when I used gold round pans, I still use them for catch pans, but I found some really neat groove ones, and they are good. But I still much prefer the displacement, and the gold claws are just designed for it. They just work better for it.
Oh,
So
Daryl said he uses it for dry also.
I was just thinking that same thing. We've been talking about wet panning, but they're actually really good for dry panning. The original works great dry panning. This one is incredibly good for dry panning. It's just smaller, the pocket pan. And this one is my personal favorite for dry panning. I made extra deep grooves with dry panning in mind, actually. And it's because I want to go through a lot of material when I dry pan. Now, I don't fill the pan all the way up when I dry pan. With wet panning, I do. I'll just mount it right up and go. But with dry panning, I tend to do it about maybe a half to a third full when I do it, because I really want to liquefy it, right? I want to get the air into the dirt so that it can act like a liquid, but made of air, so that the gold can find its way down. So the gold claw is really good for dry panning.
Yeah. I need some more gold claws. I need.
Do you? Well, let's fix that.
I need some to have to. I should do some with some videos or something, because I got a purple one.
You do so much advertising and sharing that I'm willing to send you a few if you need to replenish that.
The blue one's a pretty blue. I think I got a purple one someplace, and in the truck I have the clear one, the little one, that's always in my truck. But they're all beat up. They don't look pretty anymore.
Yeah, they do over time start to wear, but that's what seasoning is all about, right?
Yeah.
That's actually another feature. Is I was always tired of seasoning my round pans, and you need to do it because that seasoning helps the gold stay down, especially if you have flour gold. It kind of holds on to it when you're doing the washing in it. But with a gold claw, you do not need to season your pans. They will naturally season over time, and there's nothing wrong with a seasoned pan. It's great. It holds the gold a little bit tighter, but you don't need that effect with a gold claw because of the way it displaces. You don't have that worry of the surface water washing your gold away, which is what that seasoning does, is it holds that fine gold in.
It does. They do work. I can contest. And I have old videos where I've actually used them for speed panning, and they do work pretty good. I will contest to that.
I'll tell you a funny story about speed panning. When I very first launched the gold claw, I went to a gold club here local in Utah, to a gold club. And they invited me down to play with it and just try it out. It was my first time putting it in the hands of actual gold panning people. And I handed it to the gold club president, and he was, struggling with the swirling motion and stuff, but he was having fun trying it out. And his daughter was, how old was she? 6, 4, somewhere in there. She was really young. And she goes, "Can I have a try? Can I have a try?" And so he finally handed it to her and let her try it. And she watched me do it once. I said, "Here's how you do it." And I handed it to her, and she instantly did it right. She instantly took it and was able to shake and tilt. But she panned it right around maybe a minute and a half. She was very quick with it. And I remember thinking that was pretty fast for a first timer compared to her dad, right, who was taking longer because he was nervous and he was swirling and doing all the things that I kept having to show him, no side to side shaking. But she did it fast, and I remember thinking, well, that was pretty quick, and she caught the gold. But I guess that's what you expect from the daughter of a president of a gold club, right? She's probably been around enough to kind of know what to do with gold. So then I took it home, and these videos you can actually find on my channel. I went to my neighbors in the backyard. I think it was 6 and a 9-year-old. The ages are on the videos, and I just let them try it, and they did the exact same thing. So it's almost like if you aren't used to the old swirling technique, you can actually take to the panning motion faster than if you've got that muscle memory built in. And so they did the same thing. Within a minute or so, they were right down to the gold, and they caught it. And because they just mimicked the shaking motion, didn't have that swirling memory muscle memory. So
what-
that's the hardest thing, I think, is if you're used to panning, you just got to let go of the swirling, the circular motion, and go to the side-to-side shaking motion. And it's fast. It's wide at first. So if you're shaking, at first you go extra wide because there's a lot of big rock. There's a lot going on in there. But you very quickly go to very short, fast. The shorter you can do it and the faster, that's the better motion for getting the gold to drop. Shorter and faster. Pretty hard, but just short and fast. What I see sometimes is people doing really wide, sloshy motions. And when you do that, it's going to kick some of that gold off the bottom. And so when you're getting, especially when you're like half the pan or less, you want to switch to the shorter shaking motions. That's what keeps the gold, drops it right down. So that's the secret. Short, fast shaking motions.
So talk about the purple pans then.
Oh, yeah. So one thing we do, and this is because Ken talked me into it, and I love him for this. What Ken does, Ken is known as the American Prospector. You can go check his channel out. But he's helping out veterans who are suffering from PTSD. And something he found is if he went out on the river and just pans, that his PTSD calms down, it quiets. And so once he discovered that in himself, and so he'd go out panning just to calm himself down from the PTSD, he started taking other people with him. And I saw our power flicker, so there's a chance we could lose power. So that might be bad. I don't know. But he started bringing veterans in, and after a while, he asked me, he says, is there something we can do with veterans? And so we talked about it, and what we decided to do is anytime people buy a purple pan, we donate $1 to the Purple Heart Foundation. Just goes straight to them. And so, we just kind of thought, well, purple pans, Purple Heart, let's just do that. So that's one thing we do to help veterans out. And purple's actually not a bad color. If you look at the opposite end of yellow on the color spectrum, the two opposites are blue and purple. And I think blue actually shows the gold just a little bit better, but purple's on that same opposite end, and it shows the gold really good. But one neat thing about purple is that it actually shows the black sands better than the blue. So if you're trying to see if you have piled up black sands, purple does really good.
So what model would you recommend for somebody?
Honestly, based on all the feedback I've gotten from everybody, if you're starting out, I'd highly recommend the blue. Shows the gold the best.
What about
just
which
a nice
model?
Oh, which model to start out? I would do the original if you're just starting out. Now, if you're just playing around a little bit, I would do the pocket pan because it goes anywhere. It's easy to take with you. But the original is the best rounded size because it moves enough dirt that you can actually catch a lot of gold, but it's small enough it's easy to carry around, take with you. It fits in a backpack. It goes easy in your car or whatever, like a pocket pan, but it moves more dirt. Once you get serious, though, if you're trying to move a lot of dirt, then definitely the big one, because if you're trying to add up a lot of gold, you got to get through a lot of dirt, and there's nothing like this production pan to get through the dirt fast. But for starting up, I would just try it out by getting probably the combo kit. The combo kit comes with both of these two sizes. It's like perfect for starting out. And it also comes with a little kit that has actual gold in it, so you can practice. You can, at home, practice panning gold so that you know you're catching it before you go out on the river. Yes, it comes with one of those in it. It's just enough dirt and gold that you know that you are actually catching it. Get your confidence built up before you go hit the river.
I finally broke down and got rid of that. I've had that for so long.
Yeah, I love sending those because it's just a little bit of dirt. But when people experience pulling gold out of the dirt the very first time, that's when you really catch that bug and you're addicted to gold mining. And that's what I'm hoping is that people catch the love for it. But also it gives them confidence. They can see that they can get the gold out of the dirt. Then they have confidence to go back onto the river. The funny thing though is I designed that so that people would put the gold back in and keep doing it over and over. But as far as I can tell, people get that gold out and they do not want to let it go. They don't want to risk putting it back in.
You know, a pocket pan, well, I don't have a pocket, but a pocket pan, I would have little pockets. But if I had a shirt that was like 5X, I'd probably have a big pocket on there. So that pan would fit real well in there. So Ken says it fits in his pocket.
So blue jeans aren't known for having huge pockets. But this pocket pan literally fits in your blue jeans pocket. It fits right in there. But it also holds enough material that you can actually do some serious prospecting with it. If you're like on the road, you're fishing, you're not panning, but you're curious, maybe I'll find something along the way and I want to test it out. That's what the pocket pan's for. And I'll tell you why I fell in love with this. When I first was approached by somebody and they said, you should make a pocket pan, a little pocket-sized pan. I kind of rolled my eyes, went, okay, sure, why not? Like a little toy hobby for fun pan. And I just kept getting different people saying, no, I would really like a pocket-sized pan. And finally, I'm like, enough people are asking, I should just try it. But I didn't expect it ever to be big enough or useful enough for it to be worth having. But once I had it, I don't go anywhere without it now. I have fallen absolutely in love with it because I will always have this with me. It fits in I travel the world and I take my laptop everywhere I go. This fits inside my laptop bag. And it just fits right on the edge of it. And it's like it takes up no space because all my other things can still fit in there. And so that's why I've fallen in love with it, because I can always have that with me. So all my trips to Canada, to out east, globally, wherever I go, even my vacation out to Italy, I had that with me. And so I could just play around everywhere I went and check for gold. And it catches it so fast and easy. It's really good.
What Ken say? Sending it to you, Jack. I want pictures. What are you sending to me, Ken? A 5X shirt?
That's it. He wants to see you wear his shirt.
Yeah.
And two others might fit in there.
Does Ken remember at a gold show one time we left the show and we went to a restaurant and had lunch or something?
I remember that.
And we
That was
talked
a good
about
day.
and we talked about remember what we talked about? Do you remember what we talked about?
Everything.
No, we talked about something specifically though. We talked about
I don't remember.
Carry one in my. We talked about setting me up with a complete setup system to do some gold shows.
Oh, a whole gold show system?
Yeah.
Well, why haven't we pursued that?
You were gonna set me up with the whole system. We talked about the backdrops and pans and all that. That's what we talked about at the restaurant when we went out there that time.
If you're still interested in that, we should talk some more.
There's no gold shows no more, though,
Yeah, that's true.
I guess they kind of do them, but not like they used to do it. But.
I'm honestly discouraged at gold shows because I went to a California gold show, 2 of them. I did it in 2019 and some other year. And California now is they want like thousands of dollars from me for taxes. And I looked up their tax code and I don't qualify for it. And I pointed that out. My tax person's pointed it out to them and they still coming after me for it. They want thousands of dollars. I probably made $200 total. And they want thousands.
Do they really make a 5X shirt? They don't. You really ain't 5X. I don't even think they make a 5X, do they? That would have to be a special order. I'm sure somebody wears a 5X, but
what?
That's what he said. 5X gold cloth shirt. Those were cool shirts. I really thought, though, man. I remember
they were good.
And what I noticed about them, they were pressed very well. Man, there wasn't a wrinkle on them suckers. Those suckers were like you used cornstarch or whatever it was to get them suckers.
That's just the way they were. We spare no expense, get high quality material.
Yeah. That's what you should have is shirts hanging behind you with the gold cloth shirts, T-shirts in there.
I only have one of those left, and it's a small.
I don't wear small, but
Yeah, that's all I have left. So I'm seriously thinking about having my son, though, with his talent of making
should do it.
logos
Absolutely.
look so good.
Marketing.
I'm thinking about having him build me another one.
Mark says just ordered online the purple combo unit. I'm excited to try
Mike
it.
Punk, he got it too. They came after me as well. I tell you what, I swear it's a legalized mafia what's going on in California. They know that I don't qualify, and they still are shaking me down. And it's been years that they're still trying to shake me down for it. And I'm not going to give it to them because I read their law and I don't owe it to them. And I went online and researched, and apparently they're going after thousands of people after that, trying to get them, shake them down for money.
That's big shirt, even a 4X. That's big. I mean, hell, I've fitted into 2Xs.
Same here,
4X.
Mike.
Holy mackerels, that's a tent. I could take that camping with me and stretch it over vines and sleep under that.
I vaguely I think 4X sounds right. 5X seems too big. Yeah. I think 4X is right. He's a big man, but you know what? He's not overweight. He's just a strong, huge man. Yeah. I feel safe everywhere I go when he's around.
Yeah. Everybody needs a bodyguard.
Nobody's gonna mess around because they will find out.
So let's give away this tumbler, this 4th of July tumbler, okay? We the people.
Wow, check it out. Yeah, I'm wearing my 4th of July shirt.
A tumbler, a nice tumbler, has a lid, a straw, everything else. I'm going to give this away, okay? And here's the question. In the chat room, first one in the chat room with the right answer. See, I do these little sneaky ways. The last video that I put out last Saturday, I think I used the gold grabber. And what did my kid say? Okay, there you go. That's my question. What did my kid say? First one in the chat room. So, yeah, I'm going to say, so Mark already figured out how to go and order that online because he already went and ordered one, I guess, the purple combo unit. So you're going to have to tell people how they can go online and order them if they want to go online and order one. No, I didn't say why is it pink. Nobody will get that. Hope nobody gets that. I heard you.
Nobody's going to win that tumbler, huh?
Not with that question. That was a tough one. Last week it was so easy.
I can't answer it.
Got it right away. Ken says, plus he carries these 45. No, not Forrest
Gump. Forrest Gump. Is that the right answer?
No. my mom always told me the gold was like a box of chocolates. See, nobody will get that one anyway. So I just thought like I said, last week it was so easy that everybody got it right away. So I had to make this a little tougher. Jim Taylor, I take the gold cloth pans with me wherever I end up fishing.
Yeah, that's what my sister's mother-in-law. She takes a pocket pan with her because her husband goes fishing and she hangs out in pans.
You know, it's funny. For years, I used to go up to Willard Bay and go up there fishing all the time.
That's
and
my
you
home.
had up there someplace. Was it Smith and Edwards or what's that store?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is?
You have to stop in there. Yeah.
And every year for years, and I never knew that right there in the backyard, you were there.
Yeah, that's my home.
Never knew that after all them years, passed by that I used to go there.
2-minute drive to Smith and Edwards.
Yeah, I used to love that store.
It's
That was
fun.
always I went up there. But yeah, so I've been out to your place a couple of times.
Do I need to season my gold claw like a round pan? Oh my goodness. Is this a question? Mega Silver Stacker. We talked about this already. He must have just joined in. We'll give him a break.
John McAfee,
Um,
hello.
you do not need to season your gold claw pans. What we talked about is in a round pan, because the washing action tends to pull on your gold, you need to season it so there's something to hold it when you're washing to protect it. But with a gold claw, it's not using the washing action, it's using the displacement. And the little ridges and things we have in there are designed to hold it, so you do not need to season. However, if you season it, that's not going to hurt it. It'll just hold it more, but you do not need to season it.
Okay, so John McAfee got the right answer. You know, it's
Okay,
funny.
we have a winner.
It's funny that his wife Karen, they used to get on and they both separately. So they're in different rooms, I think, on two different units, and they would hurry and try to beat each other to the questions. But that's right. So I had a gold grabber and I had a hand pump on it. And so I was using that with some material I had hand pumping, and I took my kid out years ago, and he's hand pumping it. And after a while, he says, "Now I know why you brought me out here for." So, anyway, congratulations, John. PM me your address, and I'll get that out to you in the mail, buddy.
Mike Pung just said the guys at ACO Plastics say hi. That's neat. I haven't been out there for a while. That is an honor that they are saying hi, sending hi along. I love those guys.
That's fabricators.
Yeah. Those are the guys that make the biggest pan, the big one.
Oh,
They have a big enough press. I had to go clear out in Mike Pung's territory to get it made.
I remember you gave me the guy out by you, and I called him before, and he never responded back to me.
What? That's weird. He must be getting busy. I
Oh,
guess that's
well, we're
good for
talking
him, but
years ago. That was probably during COVID too.
that's really weird. I'm surprised.
Hello, Ed, flashing pan.
You really don't need to season them at all.
Going out this weekend to Fairplay. Can't wait to try it out.
You know what's kind of fun is people lately, I've had one or two actually use the pan underwater. So that's a unique thing because you do not need to wash. In other words, lift it out of the water and the water runs out. You can do the whole thing underwater. In fact, you got to keep it underwater when you're using it. It means that if you're a diver, you can actually dive down and pan at the bottom of the river, wherever you're diving, and check for gold without coming back up to the surface to check for it.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody. It was one of my friends out in California was saying that he's found somebody who actually uses it that way.
I think that'd
Or
be
a diver.
weird. The buoyancy of the material. I think that'd be kind of weird, you know.
Well, you don't have to come up to the surface to check. You can just stay down there and do all your panning down in the river.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. Flash in your pan says that he's used it in the dredge hole. That's great. That's at least two people I know that have used it that way now.
Okay, John, we'll tell Karen good job. Okay. Cool the Mundo.
You got some cool people showing up here that I know. I mean, I'm sure they're all cool, but I know some of these guys.
Well, yeah, because they've been around forever, like you.
Oh, I'm a young buck compared to those guys. They've been around way more.
Hey, so are you still working on your secret invention, or did you get that up and going?
Well, since COVID, I've been way slowed down. I'm still trying to figure out how to get back on my feet from COVID, but I haven't given up on it. That's for sure. The prototype is working beautifully. It's just turning it from a prototype to a commercial version.
Yeah, on your secret machine. Do you still have your car, the electric car?
Yeah, poor thing. It got smashed twice.
Really?
Yeah, the first time it got bunged up really good. My wife was driving it, and got bunged up good, ripped the nose up. And so I replaced the old, I don't know if you know what a Tesla looks like, but it has a round spot right on the nose. I replaced that with the new updated nose. And then last week, or was it this week? It was Friday. I was driving at home and I hit a deer.
Oh, gee.
It's all smashed up again.
Well, don't you remember that I drove your Tesla?
Oh, yeah. That's one thing. If you come to my house, you get to have a Tesla drive. I'll let you even drive it. It depends on how crazy you are. But did I let you drive it, Jack, or did I drive it?
No, I drove it. And what I found amazing was when you hit that gas, you feel like you're in an airplane. That sucker throws you back to your seat in like 0 to 60 in split seconds. That is a rush.
It's once you've tried it, you can't go back to a gas car. In fact, it's dangerous. I drive that Tesla and then I go rent a car on the road, and I think I can pull out in front of somebody safely like I can in a Tesla. And then you get that old bow, and you're like, sorry. Yeah,
I've told people about that. There's no doorknobs on that thing. There's no buttons on that thing. It won't let you change lanes.
What?
Huh?
What do you mean it won't let you change lanes?
Well, you have, because I guess it won't let you get out of your lane unless you do something.
Oh, it'll hold. Yeah, the autopilot holds the lane.
Yeah. I've even told people that, you can play games as you're driving down the road. It's automatic.
No.
You just put your address in it. It'll just take you home.
No. Don't do that.
Cars that they got.
No, do not do. It's what it does is it'll hold the lane and it'll follow the car in front of you and hold the distance. So it takes that stress out of it. But now you can focus your energy on, like, are there deer on the road? Is there something coming up the side? But do not play games.
What's the fastest you've gone in your Tesla?
Probably around 140-ish. I haven't quite made it to the 150.
Wow, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, I went out to the salt plains and opened it up a little bit.
It is a safe car because it's so heavy on the bottom. It's hard to roll.
It won't roll. Yeah. When they went to do the tests on it, the 5-star, they got a 5.5 out of 5 because they couldn't roll it. They tried, and every time they roll it and it'd go up on its side, it would just come back. Yeah. They're so stable, super safe.
Fast cars. I'd go to, when I was at the hospital there with my mother, I was amazed by how many Teslas are there in the charging stations. Of course, they're all doctors, they all have the Teslas, because they can all afford them.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was the most stressful period when I was paying for that Tesla. You talk about being house poor, I was car poor. Month to month making that payment for 6 years.
Oh, I saw the
but
new
I'm past
car.
that finally.
I saw this morning on the TV, they've got this Corvette that has electric in the front or electric in the rear and a regular motor in the front.
That's
so
cool.
You can have both. And it's only like about $140,000 or something like that. That's an awesome looking car, that Corvette. To have both motors in there, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Mike Punk's talking about the fart noises. Of course, Mike's talking about the fart noises. But yeah, some of the Teslas have built-in fart noises, and you can target which seat makes the sound. You can put it in the back passenger. You can put it in the front passenger or the driver.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's Flash asking how fast, and I think it was right around 140-ish, 130, 140, somewhere in there. I was on the salt though, and it wasn't flat, smooth, so I was pushing it there. I didn't want to go much faster.
You don't get that hydroplaning or where you're kind of sliding.
No, didn't really feel that. It's just on the salt flats. It's got all that bumpy surface. I was more worried about my tires blowing up at that speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what about the batteries catching fire and all that they're talking about in cold weather? And batteries, they don't work in cold weather. Batteries catching fire. Everybody's freaking out.
I've never seen problems. I mean, I'm sure somebody's car had a problem with that, but it's probably because they ran over something and it hit the battery or something, not from driving it fast.
No, I don't know why, but you see videos posted every now and then where batteries are exploding, and then they're
Yeah, it's
talking
a
that the cold
risk.
don't work in the cold or something.
The biggest problem with the cold is you can't get as much out of your battery, so you could end up not making it home.
So when you charge it, is it just a regular house current, or what? I know you got one in your house to charge
Yeah.
that. What
Yeah, I
kind
have a 220 that I have in the house. That's usually I charge it that way. That takes about 4 hours. If I charge it in um, a supercharger, that's 20 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on how empty it is.
So when you travel and they have them charging stations, you have to put a credit card in to charge them?
No, I've got one of the first Teslas, and so I have this forever free charging on it.
Oh,
It's
that's
kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
But I think when they do charge, it's not that much. It's way cheaper than gas for the newer cars that have to pay to do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's why I have to fix this car up. I've got the free charging forever.
So what you talked about your dad being a geologist? What's he doing?
Well, he's retired now, but I keep dragging him out to places. Like I dragged him out to yours and had him check it out and understand the geology. I've got this fun place out in California I've been playing with. It's kind of a top secret place, but it's neat. The owner of it invited me out there, and the gold was really good on it. Apparently some old timers were high grading on it. They had this 1/2-inch screen, and they would run all the material over 1/2 inches, and anything that stayed on top of the screen is what they were looking for. So all the 1/2 inch and below fell down and is still in the pile. They were high grading, keeping the bigger stuff. My guess is they were planning eventually to come back to the tailings piles, but they never did. The war hit and they just left them. And he owns that. He owns all these big tailings piles full of that. They did the hard part. They dug it up and made a pile, and he's just having fun processing it. It was commercial grade ore. It was great.
Mark, hello, Mark. Well, I remember years and years ago we used to go this claim, but I think we used a 1/8-inch classifier is what it was. But we would put the material in there, classify it, and we'd take the classified dirt and put it into another bucket. And that's what we kept, is what was in the classifier. And we used to talk how much dirt we threw away.
What was in the book or in the above the screen?
What was in the classifier is what we kept.
Whoa.
And then once we filled that all up, or filled our bucket full, then we would take it to the panning station and we would just pan it out. And we used to talk how much gold we threw away. Oh, but everything we found were pickers and had quartz on it. I mean, that claim was just that good, and that's all we were after.
Yeah.
Was that big stuff.
That's what they did, but they were imagine doing that with a 1/2-inch screen.
Yeah, that'd be
nuts.
They threw a lot of gold away.
Yeah, and on his site, he's recovering it all. It's neat. That's a neat site. That was fun. I went up there, took my kid, spent a few days up there panning, and that was neat.
Yeah, you got some gold.
But yeah, we got some gold.
What town was that in?
Top secret California place. He doesn't. I don't think he wants me sharing it. I was invited as a guest. If
It's a him or them.
it's a group of people that own it, but he's the main one that goes up and does it.
Oh, I think I know who it is, huh?
Yeah, big cowboy hat, big mustache, cowboy boots.
Well, I don't know about all that, but yeah.
Then you might not know who it is. If you know him, you know. Yeah, he's great.
I don't know him, so okay.
I love him. One of my favorite people on the planet.
It's not who I'm thinking of then.
Yeah,
so,
this guy's.
So what do you do without no gold shows going on?
Well, I don't have to worry about tax people coming and getting me. My goodness, the California deal is weird, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. the gold shows were great because I got to connect with the people and get to know them and everything. But people just keep buying gold claws. It's strange. Even without going out and meeting them, they just keep finding them and ordering them.
Well, you hit the market, I guess, when you had the chance to go out to all these shows.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad I did because I got to know the people. They got to know me a little bit, and the brand became really strong during that time. And
I remember those gold shows. So we're talking. Let's see. So I think there was one in Idaho. There was where was else? Arizona. I think there's a couple in Arizona. I think Tucson, Phoenix, or something like that. There was some in California. I think there's either 4 or 5 of those shows that we went to, and all in that row right there.
Some of them were out east, a couple out there each year.
Well, the ones that we went to that I was with you, and our gold panning contest. Did yeah. Some people's heard that story. But so I had to bring all that stuff over here. So all those shows, I think there were 4 shows. So there was Saturday and Sunday, and I won the gold panning contest, and all those shows, both Saturdays and Sundays, all of them. And then Kevin was telling me that he didn't want me to enter him anymore because, anyways. But so then you came along. You're the only one that actually beat me in the gold panning contest.
I did it once. That's why I can never do it again. I got to stay the undefeated champion.
Yeah, you got.
But that was my first time trying it. But you gave me all the tips. I'm like, Ken Snyder, right? He's like, you should go do that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go do that. And he's like, no, do it. Just do it. And he got me over to talking to you. And you're like, yeah, I just shake it hard and stuff. Everything you said made sense for separating gold. And I'd never competition panned, just to see how fast you can get it out. And I was seriously expecting these little fly poops or something they put in there. And so I shook it just hard enough that I thought I could still keep those. And somehow I still got the winning time. But I remember when I saw that massive chunk of gold, I mean, that thing was a huge old picker. I was so mad. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's what I was recovering? We could have gone faster. It was so big. But I couldn't believe I actually took the win at the end of the day. That blew my mind. First time trying it.
They were fun shows. I mean, those times were always fun, and people had fun. I remember Kevin one time, he glued the nuggets in the pan, and I panned it out, and then I'm trying to take it out. I couldn't get the nuggets out of there, and there was another time they actually didn't drop any nuggets in there, so I thought I lost them all.
What?
Yeah.
Good for them. You deserve it.
They screw with that all the time. So those were kind of fun times to go do all that, Yeah,
that was fun. And the people at the gold show are great. The Gold Prospectors Association. I really like those folks. Really good people.
So you remember the old shows? They do the panning contest, and they also had the mucking contest. That's one thing I could never win, no matter how that, with the mucking, filling that ore cart with all them rocks. I just would get so tired of shoveling them up.
That's one I haven't done.
They don't do them. They didn't even do them at the end there. That's back in the day when Tom used to do all the shows and that. They had that. Yeah, I tried, Mike.
So Janin says, my husband loves the gold claw pans. He keeps buying them, and I keep telling him we have enough already. Yeah, you got to have one of everything. Got to have a blue one. You got to have a clear one. Got to have a big one. Got to have a small one.
I need the. I don't know if I'd use the big one. But
let's give the big one away.
Okay,
give the big one away.
Okay, it's going to give
so
a big one away.
This is a one of a kind. It's got this interesting pattern in it. So whoever wins it, I'll give them this very one. Kind of a display model almost that you hang up. And but it's fully functional. It's a good one, but it's kind of a keeper. So we're going to give this thing away.
Okay, how you going to do it?
Man, why don't you come up with a good trivia question? We haven't really said the name of it. Do you think people know the name of it?
Yeah, they'll know that.
They'll know that. Okay.
Wait, let's see. Okay, hold on a second here.
Just for fun, while you're coming up with a question, I'll ask the chat. What is the name of the big pan? See how many people know that.
Can you see the private chat there?
Yeah.
I sent you a private chat.
So the speed of the 5 gallon.
Don't say what it is. But
okay.
For a question. Could you see? Do you see what it was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, something like that.
That works for me.
That was in the video.
That was in the video, but I also talked about how fast you can do one side. Do you remember that?
You can ask that question. You can ask whatever question you want, but I just don't know what some of the answers are.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this question. Okay, we'll give away another one. Okay, I'm gonna do your question because I like it, and then I'll ask my question. So your question is, how fast did I pan 5 gallons in that video? Did I ask the question right?
Yeah.
All right. How fast could I do a full 5 gallon bucket in that video?
You can see.
And Mark Nye already has it. I knew they'd have that one easy.
Mark, is that it? 40 seconds.
So Mark Nye won it. 29 seconds. Good guess.
Mark won it. Wow.
40 seconds is the answer. That was fast.
Job, Mark, man.
All right. So Mark, if you can give Jack your shipping address, I will ship that to you.
PM me, Mark, your shipping info, and I'll pass it on. 29.
Steve, you are right. You are just not fast enough.
Yeah. You guys can't lag behind in the show. Sometimes people lag behind when they join on. So you don't want to lag behind because then you miss out. Wow, I'm impressed. We'll do. Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So let's give away a pocket pan while we're at it. All those disappointed people still have another chance. Are you okay with that, Jack? If we give a pocket pan, and I'll ship that out too.
Okay.
All right. So for a pocket pan, what is the speed I normally take panning? And the pocket pan, the production, and the original are all roughly the same speed. I named that speed earlier. Who can name that speed? How many seconds does it normally take to do one side? For me, I've got 12. I've got 3. Close. There it is. 15 seconds. So Steve got a win after all.
Oh, Steve got it, and right after that was Buck.
And then Buck came out just a fraction too slow.
And so Steve got that.
Steve got it.
Congratulations.
So let's make Steve and Buck a tie, and I'll give them both one.
I don't know why I was guessing 3 too. I would guess
3 seconds. That's really fast.
I don't know why I thought of 3, but
I have speed panned it that fast on my own time, just playing around, just so you know. But I'm going to give Steve and Buck a tie. So why don't you get both of their addresses, and I'll ship them both a pocket pan.
All right, Steve and Buck, PM me your shipping addresses. I will pass that on. The answer is Forrest Gump. You know, my mom always told me what kind of pan you should use. So to give a little more detail on that, it takes me about 15 seconds on an original. And so I just use that when I describe all of them. But the pocket is really close. It's actually 12 seconds, which Mark said. But that's not what I said earlier, so I had to stick with 15. It's about 12 seconds on a pocket pan, about 15 on an original, and about 18 seconds for me to do it in a production. And that kind of blows my mind because I would have thought if it's twice the pan, it's going to take twice the time. And it's about 6 times bigger to go from an original to a production pan.
So I was expecting, at least double the time, but it's like no matter how big I scale the pan, it takes about 15 seconds. So that kind of blows my mind.
Oh, Mark says he knew all the answers, but he didn't want to guess them because he has 3 pocket pans already.
Good for you, Mark. Way to spread the fun around to other people.
Yeah. Funny. Cool the mundo.
All right. Well, that's fun. We gave away 3 pans.
Wow, you did. You give away 3 pans. You always give away stuff.
I like to. Makes me happy.
So, people, you never mentioned somebody who wants to go on and check your website or go on to order any pans, or what do they got to do?
Sure. If you want to order some pans, you can just go to goldclaw.com. And at goldclaw.com, you can see everything that's available. The blue ones are the best pricing. And that's because with higher volume, you can lower the price. And more people buy blue than anything. Part of it's because I recommend it, but that's because people are having the best experience with blue. You can see gold the best. It's a great color anyway. You can find it when you lose it. So I highly recommend blue.
Steve, you don't have to PM. You can just email them. You know how to email? goldfeverradio@yahoo.com. He put his address in there. I can probably find your address, Steve, but okay, I should write these down. We got Steve. Who else was there? Mark. Who else got one? And Buck.
Mark likes the clear. That's worth mentioning. Talk about the clear for a minute.
Mark and I bought one, didn't he? He went on and bought them already. Okay. You won a couple of months ago and gave away some then also. Yes, Richard. Oh, you remember that. Yeah. I like the blue too.
I personally like the blue the best, but my second runner-up I think has to be clear. And the reason why is because the clear has an immersive experience. You can't see the gold quite as good, but if you touch it into the water, it makes the gold show up. Just give it just kind of dip it in about an inch into the water. But when you're panning with a clear pan, you can see the river, you can see everything that's going on. It's really nice. It's fun. It's immersive. So probably blue first, followed by clear. My favorite colors.
Who got that big pan? The production.
That pan. Was Mark Nye.
Mark Nye. Okay, yeah. Okay, Mark. That was the production pan.
Yeah.
Production pan. Okay. And then Buck and Steve got the pocket pan. Okay. See, Jack, you need an assistant. I do need an assistant. I've been saying that a long time. You want to be my assistant? You can come on every week and be my assistant. How's that?
Well, that's great.
Be careful what you. One day I'll have an assistant.
Well, so Mark and I run the production pan. I'll tell you why I love the production so much. When you go prospecting, you got to carry all your stuff with you. If you don't know anything about where you're going, you just take an original pan and you go, prospecting, and it's perfect. But as soon as you find a spot that you want to get serious about, you really need to move enough dirt to convince yourself it's a good spot. And so you want to bring a sluice. Well, to carry a sluice up, it's pretty heavy. And a sluice alone's not enough, right? You got to have a good wash plant with it. So a high banker or something. Well, now you're bringing pumps. By the time you bring everything up there, you're worn out to get it up, and especially if you're going far. And then you got to set it all up, and then you got to take the time to classify if you're going to do that. And so by the time you've ran all your material, you've gone through all those stages, and now it's sitting at the bottom of your sluice. You're still not knowing if there's good gold. And you have to do a clean out, and then you have to pan through all that clean out. What I like about the production pan is there's no setup, there's no clean out. You just run the material. You can run the material. I mean, you saw how fast I did it, 5 gallons in 40 seconds. I personally can't run a sluice nearly as fast as I can run a production pan. And I get my answer very quickly, right down to the gold. And so I get instant feedback. I get quick feedback. I can run a pan and see if there's gold in it. I can run 3 or 4 pans to get enough volume to start to convince myself. And once I think I've found a hot spot, I can run, a good long, like 10 pan sample and really know for sure that I'm in a good spot without the delay of a sluice. And the original reason for a sluice is you can run higher volumes faster, but I can't run higher volumes in a sluice than I can just in my production pan. Now, when you start to get really high volumes, commercial volumes where you're running, 10, 20, 30 yards an hour, now you want a large system. But anything that's down in the small high banker type system, you're just as fast and better off and easier to transport it using a production pan.
So what's next in your
You're welcome, Mark Nye. He says thank you, Jack and Clint.
what's next in your
Pan series?
something. Yeah.
Well, besides the other stuff I'm working on, what I think if I were to make another pan, it would be something between the production pan and the original. It's probably the next size.
Didn't we talk about building some type of classifier that would fit in the pans?
Why? It is a classifier.
I don't know. Is it something to do?
I wouldn't waste my time classifying. It is a classifier. It's built in. But I do think a pan between the original and the production, because the production is kind of heavy. You got to keep it underwater, and the buoyancy of the water makes it easy to use. But something in between just seems like the next natural pan. So it's still really big, but not quite so big as the production. But small enough that it's still easy to transport and handle the material. So that might be next. We'll see. I'm still deciding.
We'll see. Okay. But other than that, there's nothing
outside of the pan world. I kind of want to make a small machine that's fairly easy to transport, but you can just sit there and run material all day. It does all the shaking for you, so it's super precision. You're going to catch all your gold. That's what I want to do next. I just have to get more stable on my feet before I go into that production mode.
Okay, then make an invention where you take your pocket pan or the production pan, you set it in this device, you fill it full of gravels, you hit the button, and it does it all for you. It does it all, takes it all the way down, then you dump it, you fill it up again, hit the button, and it does it all.
Yeah, that's one of our prototypes, is a floating mechanism. It floats and shakes, and you just shovel into it.
Floats and shakes.
Yeah. That's basically what you just described, isn't it? You shovel into it, and it just sits there and shakes. It's got a tether, so it, doesn't float away. And you shovel into it while it shakes. It holds the angle, and you keep it full. It's got a little hopper built into it, so you can, overfill it a little bit if you're shoveling that fast. So that is something that's in the possibility of making.
Cool the mundo. Cool the mundo. Okay. We cover everything we needed?
I think so.
Think so?
I think so.
Anybody got any final words of
any questions? Any
questions?
Stories I need to tell?
We can tell some stories. We could tell some stories about how since you're up there on the fishing lake, you used to tie that pocket pan onto a fishing on both ends and cast that, and as you wheel it in, you got fish coming in with you. It just gets stuck right there in the pans, like a bacon pan.
Oh my!
I was thinking, when you're
when
you're out in the woods, you got this big pot production pan. You put all your food in there and put holes, and then you can hoist it up into the trees. Us old guys don't shovel too fast. Great show. Thank you.
I agree. We don't shovel so fast anymore. I used to shovel a lot faster.
Yeah.
Digging's the hardest part for me now.
Now we find
panning. It's shovel, pan. Shovel,
now
shovel, shovel, shovel.
Now we find
Shoveling's the hard part now.
Now we find people that do it for us. Let me see. Let me find this commercial. This is what we're talking about. I got to play this commercial right here. Here we go. Hold on. Gold Fever Adventures is looking for a few prospectors who really love digging for gold. Some of my friends have been telling me that I'm getting too old to dig anymore. They also say I need to think smarter. So I have a great plan. I need prospectors to dig for me. Hey, don't worry. I'll show you where to dig at, and you can use all of my equipment. I mean, that's only fair, since I'll be keeping all the gold that you find for me. All qualified applicants can apply in person at the camp. So remember, you're digging for me. Oh, yeah.
That can't be real. That can't be real. Who needs CrossFit when you have your digging camp?
Let's see. Trucking, we will see you later. Good night from St. George, Utah. Yeah, Trucking Nomad down there in St. George, Utah. All you Utah people.
All right. Well, it's fun connecting with all your people again.
Yeah. Hey, anyway, Clint, appreciate. Give us a piece of advice to all people just starting out in this world, prospecting and all that. What's some piece of parting advice you give them?
Oh, man. Always bring a friend so they can show you for your first time. If you can go have somebody show you and take the mystery out of it, I would do that, because gold is everywhere. It's right under your feet. And the first time you dig and you start digging on the surface, you're going to miss it. And you're going to feel like you're going to get discouraged. But if you can have somebody come and show you it's right there and this is how you get it, that's what I would advise. Have somebody show you where and how, and so that you have that first good experience.
And then do it for you and give you all the gold that they find.
Yeah. Well, you better be keeping your gold you find. Yeah.
Well, hey, this winter when it cools down, you'll have to get back out there and explore out there again, because there's some good gold out there still. I'm curious. I want to go try your other sites too. That first one was actually pretty good. It's right on the edge of commercial. Yeah, the other one, like I say, it's budded right.
It could be. I was going to say it could be commercial. We just haven't finished looking at it.
Well, they did commercialize it once upon a time, but further down south, like I say, that butts right next to another large outfit. Not a large outfit, but they're mining. They're getting all types of gold off it. And like I say, and right next to that is what old Jeff Williams claims are at right there too. So, it's a good area right there, and there is a mine there too, kind of like the Tup mine. So there's
I'll
gold
come back
there.
down.
We'll go down there and play. There's a lot of trash in there. That's why it's not good for metal detecting. But I've never played around with it a lot, dry washing down there. I've got a lot more exploring to do in that area, which I will do. But anyway, so.
All right, I'll come back down. I want to check out your other sites. They sound fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Jack. Thanks for having me out. It was fun.
Plus, we go the other side of the hill and find meteorites. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys all for hanging, all for being a part. I got to find my outro here. Right, there's my outro. All right. Hey, thanks, Clint, hanging with us. Thanks for the giveaways, buddy. You be safe out there. Stay cool.
Thank you.
You got to go to work tomorrow?
Me? I'm off all week.
Oh, cool. 4th of July. You guys all be safe out there. Don't blow up your fingers, okay? So until our paths cross again, peace out, everybody. Thanks, everybody. See you. Bye.
Bye.